forward on this. Woohoo! There we go. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Good. Well, do you know what? I love mentoring. I really do. And I love, as you know, not only mentoring everyone on a personal wellness, but I love doing business stuff as well because I personally think they go hand in hand. And it's really interesting because for Great British Radio, I was talking about being an entrepreneur. And it wasn't really about wellness at all. So it was a nice refreshing because a lot of the times I talk about wellness and it was really great to talk about being an entrepreneur because that's really the essence of what we are. And so today is really an entrepreneurial chat and to see if we can't boost things a little bit more. And I cannot believe we are already at week 7 mentoring of the 12 weeks. That I've decided today that I actually enjoy this so much, I'll probably keep going past the 12 weeks because I just think that they're kind of useful, not only for you, but actually they're really good reminders for me. So it's really, I think it's sort of a win-win for everybody. It's just great to have them online, isn't it? So if you can't join live, you can always catch up with something afterwards. But today, what we are going to do is we've already had a really quick catch up, which is great. We're going to take a look at 5 fundamentals of sales, and then we can have a little Q&A afterwards. As always, you know, I've kind of created a PowerPoint for you, and I'll just kind of talk to you. But if you have any questions as I'm speaking, I love it to be interactive. So just either pitch straight in or pop your hand up or something that I can't see when I'm on a share screen is the chat. So don't put anything in the chat because I can't see it. Just come straight in and just ask the question, which is great. But you know, today is about sales, and I love talking about sales because, you know, as an entrepreneur myself and kind of striking out on my own, those financial initiatives really make an impact on the world. And you know, I believe in every single product that I release, but sales are so important for every single business because they keep the lights on in my house, you know, and they guide my future business. But not only that, I'm really passionate about what I do, and I believe I have a service that can transform other people's lives. But it's so important, just like you guys, you know, sales are tough, right? And this is interesting because it's exactly what I was talking about in on the radio. And I'm a nutritionist. You know, my background is a nutritionist. I didn't go to university to be an entrepreneur. I didn't, you know, when I went to university, it was all real science based. We didn't learn anything about running our own nutrition business or sales or anything. So, you know, times have changed for us as well. And we need to kind of go with the times. And actually, I think sales stuff changes constantly anyway. And so I just want to touch on a couple of things today. And I'm just going to do an overview, and then I'm going to do a deep dive into them as well. So these are kind of 5 secrets that I use in my business mentoring with people all the time. And you know, obviously there's like hundreds of them, okay? But I've just chosen 5 because that's all we have time to chat about. So I actually think that this is going to be part 1 of a sales mentoring. And eventually, over the next year, we'll probably get to the full 100 secrets to master your sales. But today, we're going to start with 5. Because these are the 5 most important ones that I believe need to be the foundation that can increase what you're doing at this moment in time. So let's take a look at secret 1. Secret 1 is all about, you know, it starts with you, and you have to decide to be great. Don't forget, I'm going to deep dive into each one of these separately, okay? Secret 2 is, you know, what great sales professionals must know. And actually, if you're an entrepreneur and you are running your own business, you're a sales professional. You have to be. And it's something that I deal with all the time, because I also deal with a lot of people who are therapists going into their own business, a bit like I was. I'm a nutritionist, I'm not a salesperson, but actually you need to learn these fundamentals to keep your lights on and keep your children fed. Number 3 is about understanding rejection. Yeah, this is massive, massive, massive. And, how you can't take it personally sometimes as well. So we're going to really go into this, Number 4 is, just getting out there and showing your proposals that you have. Number 5 is a third party touch. This is really good as well. And this is something that I use a lot. And then we've just got a little one, number 6, because I couldn't stop at number 5, was always providing options. So let's take a look. We're just going to deep dive into this a little bit more. And I love this. I'm just going to pop that there. Oops, just a second. I'm just going to pin myself, and then I can pin. There we go. We pop it like that. Great. So I love this quote by Zig Ziglar. Yeah, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And this really does all start, with us. And yeah, I guess the main thing is there's no magic to sales, but you have to start sales to start the magic process. So it's really quite interesting, because a lot of the times it's not a lack of sales knowledge, it's a lack of commitment to sales and putting time in your diary. And you're going to see now at week 7 how all the other, I'm going to start tying it all together with the other presentations that I've done throughout. And it really is quite interesting. And so a lot of this deciding to be great is working out your willingness and commitment to that greatness of sales, and deciding how you can best serve your industry. And because really that is what it is. Now, I love the book, and one of the most recent Audible books that I downloaded, although I have it in a hard copy, I actually downloaded the Audible version of the Stephen Covey, which I'm just going to pull it up now, because if you haven't got a free book from me, you might want this. And it's the 7 habits of, whoops, 7 habits, I didn't mean to turn it on, 7 habits of highly successful people, Stephen Covey. Now, I'm going to go through those 7 habits right now, because this is part of deciding to be great. If you want that free book as a gift in Audible, let me know, because I have just bought it. I haven't listened to it online yet, but I wanted to download it in case you guys wanted it. And then I can send it to you free of charge if you haven't accepted one from me already. So that's really cool. So let's take a look at the habits, and I'm going to refer to my notes here, so I do apologize, because habit number 1 is about being proactive. And this is obviously super important in sales. And the first of the 7 habits of highly effective people is to be proactive. And this habit is all around taking responsibility for your life and your choices. Now, some people blame circumstances. I even have some people blaming genetics. I'm not genetically made to sell. And they use genetics for their behavior as well. But, proactive leaders actually realize they have control over their responses, no matter what happens to them. And so it is about creating that new proactive mentality to actively put sales in your diary, in your time management. If you watch that webinar that I did as well, it's being structured around that. So habit number 2 in the Stephen Covey book is begin with the end in mind. Now, we did a whole series of a webinar on goal setting and vision boards. And this one really is begin with the end in mind, makes you really conscious of your effort to envisage that life that you want. And so this habit changes you in a way to create that mental blueprint, right? Which we talked about in my previous webinar of who do you want to be and how do you develop to be that person? And what are your steps to getting there? And especially when you're taking a look at the wheel of wellness and your financial well-being and how sales can get you to that next level. It is so super important. So we have to do it. So there's no point in telling ourselves, oh, I'm not a great salesperson. I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a saleswoman. You know, that kind of thing. Oh, I'm in HR. I'm not in sales. But actually, we are entrepreneurs. So we are sales. End of. And once we get our head around it, then we can do great, great, great things. Excuse me. Stephen Covey's habit number 3 is put first things first. Excuse me. So the third habit kind of builds on the second habit. So you're creating this mental blueprint for your life with your goals. And then habit 3 is you take action to realize the blueprint or your mission. And your mission here is sales. So really, this one is about time management and life management because we want to fit it all in. Now, I really suggest you take a look at the time management thing because I have color coded. For those of you who were on that one, my diary is now completely color coded. And I have bought, oh, these are fantastic, my amazing colorful highlighters. And do you know what? The pink one is for sales. So I know in my diary, every time there's like a pink box for chunking my time, it's when I actively work on sales. So again, you can take a look at those kinds of things because we have to put those first things first to get us closer to our goal. When I owned NutriChef, which was my healthy meal delivery company, which I ran and was at the helm of for 12 years before I sold it in March 2015, I always had a saying. Now, I mean, we had 45 staff, so you know, I had a lot of paychecks to to pay. I had to make it rain. And so in my head, one of the first things I used to say in the morning is money in before money out. So I always used to work on sales first thing in the morning for a couple of hours to make sure we had loads of money coming in. Because as you can imagine, each week when I was paying wages, there was a lot of money going out. So money in before money going out. And that was just my mindset at the time. So I had to bring the sales in. You know, I was at the helm of the company. So habit number 3 is definitely put first things first. So habit number 4, in the Stephen Covey book is think win-win. And I love this, and this actually goes with one of my secrets, which is about the third-party endorsement. And you have to really be thinking win-win, and you don't want that scarcity mindset. And so, you know, there's so much money to go around for everybody, which is great. And the win-win mindset seeks these solutions that's mutually benefit for everybody involved in a transaction. It doesn't mean necessarily giving discounts, but it does mean giving value and making sure everyone is winning from the sale. So it requires maturity, which is interesting. Yeah, you know, we don't want to be like throw our toys out the pram if we don't get what we want in a sale. It is a win-win. We need to have our own personal integrity in there as well. And we also have to have that abundance mindset because do you know what? What you have to sell is of great value to people. You guys on this course are freaking awesome. You know, and I love doing the one-to-one mentoring with some of you on the course as well, because understanding your value and having that abundance mindset is amazing. And so that's your bargaining tool. And but again, we have to be mature about it, and we have to have that abundance mentality. So habit number 5 in the Stephen Covey 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And at this point, I want to actually tell you that Not only do I have the hard copy book of the Stephen Covey one, but I have the teens book of it as well, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. This is written by Sean Covey. Interestingly, it's Stephen Covey's son. This is amazing. I have used this with my kids. And look, I've got some little post-it notes. As you know, my youngest, Hannah, is at university. She's studying law, and we've used a lot of things in this workbook. But what is fascinating about the workbook is actually it gives you an easier method to use this methodology if you're going to be using it with your own coaching clients, okay, or your own personal well-being within the Wheel of Wellness. So I actually think this is a fantastic book for you to get because it also comes with a workbook, whereas the Stephen Covey for adults, right, adult learners, doesn't, whereas the teens one does, and it's brilliant, and it can be used for adults as well. So it's really, really fantastic. And I've got notes all through mine, but it is absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant for all ages. So again, habit number 5 is first seek to understand, then be understood. And this is all about listening, listening empathetically and really listening to what your clients need. And I always find this amazing because when I had NutriChef, what was interesting, they might come and see me and say, oh, I need to lose a stone. But actually, do you know what? What they were telling me was, without saying it, was, do you know what, Barbara, my marriage is going to break down if I don't lose a stone and I don't feel better about myself because my sex life is terrible. I need it for my own sort of self belief in myself. They never said that. But actually, that's what they said after they lost the weight. And, not once, not twice, but these were stories many, many times. And I used to say to them, I said, why didn't you tell me that in the first place? Not that I would have worked any harder, okay? But you need to really listen and understand what they're going through, because you have the solution to their problem. But the problem is, as well, is our poor communication habits, especially in the workplace, and especially with potential clients, because they want to feel heard. Yeah, there's nothing worse than not feeling heard. So listen to them, hear them, because when you really listen empathetically and you hear them, it makes that sale so much easier, so much easier. Habit number 6 is synergize. And the 6th habit is around your sort of how you can influence others to sort of achieve more and be more effective. It's basically around creating that synergy together and that cohesiveness, not only with the secrets, all these secrets which you'll see, but clicking with your client and making sure that cohesiveness and that synergy is absolutely there. And habit number 7 for Stephen Covey is sharpen the saw. Sharpening the saw means keeping yourself sharp. And this is super important because it's exactly what we talk about all the time. And it's practicing self-renewal in the 4 areas. That's your physical self, your social and emotional self, your mental self, and your spiritual self. How greatly is that aligned to the Wheel of Wellness? The Wheel of Wellness that I created wasn't just plucked out of anywhere. It's around reading all these books and understanding that actually being an entrepreneur and working on sales and your financial wellness is all around sharpening the saw and taking care of ourselves. Decide to be great. This is where it all starts. And those 7 habits of Stephen Covey are just awesome. So check that out even more. Great. Let's do secret number 2. So what sales professionals need to know? Do you know what? There is so much here. Honestly, knowledge and action is power in this area, but it's how we learn as well. And there is so much to learn. There's handling objections, there's negotiating strategies, there's social media and sales, there's closing deals, there's following up leads, there's following up unclosed sales as well, right? There's sales meetings, even with yourself. Do you know, I have a sales meeting with myself every week. Yeah, on my lonesome. It's in the diary. Remember what color is it? It's pink. And you know, these things are really important. What are my targets for the week? How many people am I going to contact? How many proposals am I getting out? We're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah. How many incoming calls am I going to take? How many outbound calls am I going to do? How many cold calls am I going to do? What's my internet response going to be? What's my customer service going to be like? What's my motivation for sales this week actually going to be? My list goes on and on. You need to know all these. You need to write them down. But I'm going to talk about the most important ones today, and that is prospecting. How daunting is that? Yeah? And unless we can prospect clients, there's a little chance that you're going to get a sale. Correct? So discovery is where it's what? Is where it's at. Discover those new clients that are going to belong to you. And this is wonderful because we want to prospect people all the time. And those leads coming in, you know, that generate the business can be really motivating, really, really super motivating. And so going from the prospecting to closing the sale probably has to be one of the biggest and daunting fears that we all have because of the next topic, which I'm going to talk about, which is understanding sort of rejection. But do you know what? What you can't do is you can't jump around in those sections either and make any presumptions that who you're speaking to is actually going to make the sale, because there's nothing worse. You know, one of the things that I really hate is getting along really well in a sales call with somebody. They're selling to me, by the way, okay? And then all of a sudden they make a presumption that I'm going to buy. And then they say something silly, and it could just be a joke, but I don't take very kindly to it, and you might feel the same, is that I find this really negative when they say something like, so who should I send the invoice to? You know, that kind of thing. And again, I don't like that. It's not my way of selling. I would never do that to someone else. So it's creating the language that you actually want to use, that they feel heard enough to make the final decision. Does that make sense? Let them make the final decision on the sale, not you coming out saying, so who should I invoice? You know, you can do that after they say yes. But, you know, hopefully that makes sense, because otherwise you're going to get this, which is a rejection, which is a no, because that's when I personally shut down. So I think I sell to people like how I like to buy. Does that make sense? Because I love shopping. I love buying. I buy every day. Yeah, every day. Like this morning, I was buying a present for my mom's birthday next week. And I was online. Okay, what home plants can I get sent to Canada? You know, so I'm shopping every day. And I love good customer service. But there's a lot of rejection that goes with that. And rejection is probably one of the things that kills most entrepreneurs in their early journey, because, and I love this saying, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. I mean, I've had a lot of no's in my life. So I think it's really important that how I deal with a no now is I'm just one no closer to a yes. And you just switch it around to a positive. There are still some no's that play around in my mind, though. Yeah, but that's just life. You need to learn from those, and so I'm going to show you some tips of how I deal with the rejection, and it's tough, yeah. But I think you can deal with it in a healthy and productive way that actually gets you closer to the yeses instead of you feeling really beaten down and it's like, oh, I just can't face another phone call today. But what you have to do, a little bit like the mantra I use, do you know what? I'm just one no closer to a yes. And it could be that next call. And then that's what's really motivating. So my kind of tip number one here is don't take it personally. Yeah. So you can't afford to take it personally. You really can't. So don't, because that emotional roller coaster of you taking that no personally will stop any future sales as well. So it's not about you, it's about them. And just like how some of my clients didn't tell me why they wanted to lose weight, sometimes they won't tell you why they haven't taken the sale. And my next thing is like almost expect it. Expect them to say no. Yeah. And rejection happens. It's just part of the course. It's a natural and common part of sales. End of. So train yourself not to be surprised when a customer says no. It's like, yeah, no problem. Which brings me to my next point. Number 3 is just be professional about it. Because I'm sure you've had to say no in some instances as well. Remain polite, remain professional. And this is so interesting because I remember once, and I may have told you this story, and I was going to a massive supplier called 3663. And they're now, I think, rebranded into Bid Food. And this is when I was selling the bars alongside the meals, and we had bars in 27 EU countries. So our health bars were vegan. I created them. They were one of the greatest products that we had in the retail market. Anyway, I went along, and this buyer actually said to me, Barbara, I'm not going to take it. I think your bar tastes like a dog chew. And I almost fell off my chair because I felt like saying to them, well, how many dog chews have you tried? I could have been really sort of defensive coming back, but I didn't. I kept really quiet, and I was just like, yeah, okay, that's your opinion. Thank you very much. We really like them. I like them, kind of thing. Because in his second breath, he actually said to me, he goes, but Barbara, I'm a really good buyer. I might not have liked your product, but I put it in front of the ladies in the office and they loved it. And therefore, we're going to take your product. So be professional, because if I was unprofessional, boom, at that initial moment, he probably would have turned around and said, actually, I don't want to work with this chick. She's that's not who I want to work with. So, if they don't take your product at that moment in time, if you're polite and professional, they will work with you at some point. Because they're going to remember your good attitude about it, and they'll approach you first. And that's the other thing to put forward to them is, just relate to them. If they don't take your product and they reject you, ask them why, in a really polite, professional manner, but actually just ask them why they didn't go with your service, or what, so you can make it better and make the future calls better, and for them to keep you on file. It's a really tough feedback, but we talk about feedback a lot, and some of you might be in the beginning of this sales process, so it's really important for you to learn along your journey as well. You want to focus on the positives. Yeah, not every call is going to be a rejection. Yeah, so don't get into that mindset. Don't be thinking, oh, they're going to say no, but focus on the positive calls that you have had for your services and getting them into businesses, and emphasize on the calls that you won. Beforehand, I like to kind of visualize great clients, especially when I know I've got a difficult client that I'm potentially pitching to, and maybe they've had a lot of wellness issues in the past, and it's like, okay, I'm going to talk to you in a way of understanding those issues that you're having, but have some positive outcomes around that as well. It makes you feel better also. Um, my last point is just don't give up. Yeah, you know, you might have 20 no's. There are times, there's days that go by sometimes that I'm pitching into companies and I don't get anything. And then I get a string of them. And this week is a string of them. you know, um, actually, all last month, you know, I didn't get into any of the companies that I pitched to. Tomorrow, I'm talking to again 3 of those same companies because they've come back to me. They love what I have to offer. So I've got a call at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I've got another one at 11:30, and I've got another one at 1. Those are all companies I've spoke to before. One of them I've been speaking to for a year and a half. Finally, I'm speaking to them tomorrow at 9:30. You know, stick with it. Never give up. Never give up. Okay, let's take a look at sales secret number 4. And this is like showing proposals to everybody. So I don't mean ramming them down their throat, okay? I mean being pretty strategic with this. Because this is a really, I pulled this statistic off the Federation of Small Businesses. Did you know, this one here, I'm going to read it. 72% of entrepreneurs never present a proposal to their client. So you might be having calls and making assumptions from that call, but you've never sent a written proposal. So just think about that and write that into your repertoire of what you do, and kind of think, well, why don't I do it? Right? What are your excuses for not following up with a written proposal so they've got everything on file? You know, are you not ready? Right? Because I know some of you aren't. I know some of you are really just starting out, but make yourself ready. And you know what? Just start, right? It's like going back to the first slide. You have to start to be great. We're not always great when we first start, and it will evolve from there. Then I want you to really take a look at how committed are you in sales, because I tell you what, bum bum bum, when I have my my pink marker time for sales, I am 100% committed in here. Okay, my phone is off, right? I am focused. I am committed. God damn it, I am going to get a sale, or I'm going to call the people I'm supposed to call in my pink time. That's the way you need to be. I put my sales head on, which is different than, you know, other kind of mentalities that I get into, whether I'm working with a client that might be a little bit more empathetic, or if I'm speaking with my kids, or I'm having lunch. You got to put your sales cap on. Yeah. Oh my God, I need to buy a sales cap. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Have like Barb's sales cap. Boom, we'll make it pink. I'm going to try to order one online. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get to here is don't make excuses for not getting in that mindset to send your clients proposals, okay? And just don't waste time. Don't waste any time. Get your marker pens out in your diary and do specific sales time. It doesn't have to be every day, but it's got to be every week. And it's got to be people in the pipeline. Because I tell you what, you know, what's easier if someone says no to you and you have people on a list in a pipeline, that no is much easier to take. Yeah? Than if there's no one else on your list in the pipeline and you are just referring to one. So get that pipeline of people ready and hit them all at the same time, because you're in the mode and it's so much easier. Okay, my sales secret number 5 is the third party and the third party touch. This is really great. Now, this is building a relationship. It can be obviously more than 3 people, but those affiliates, those retailers, those other e-commerce platforms, what I'm trying to say, e-commerce platforms, you know, like my Aspire for Business. I could have done it by myself on Kajabi, right? But instead, I decided to use a third party because I get their support and we are an affiliate. Yeah, I have to give, 35% of the fee of my courses to them. That's the retail course. That's not if I discount, by the way. So, but it's fantastic. I get to really affiliate with them and that third party touch, and it kind of bridges the gap sometimes, yeah, between the creator, which is me, and the customer. And so it can actually be easier sometimes to pass the sale on to someone else, especially when you're first starting out. So it's a really great role, and they become a real advocate for your brand. I tell you what, Aspire for Business Academy love my courses. And so they're raving about my courses all the time. They're raving about the features, the aesthetics, and the added value that everyone gets. And that's sometimes difficult to rave about it yourself, right? So get a third party to do it. And it is just absolutely crucial around this. And I think it's a real added benefit. So really you want to look for third parties. Now, we have such a great little community here amongst ourselves in the Wellness Ambassador certified facilitators that we have. So let's all support each other. I mean, I'm happy to support however I can in this and support your services as well. Okay, my last one here is always provide options. So people love options, yeah? I mean, for me, I love options. You can buy it all at once. You can buy it over 3 months. You can, have this price. You can have a discount. You can have added value. There's so many different options you can put in a proposal. So for me, when I'm pitching to a company, I normally put 3 prices. Yeah, this is option 1, this is option 2, option 3. Most of the time, they always go for option 2, right? It's just the way they work. But what it stops them from getting the most value that I load into option 3, and they can see the value of option 3. It stops them from getting option 3 priced at an option 1 price. Because I'm just like, okay, option 1 is your cheapest, rough and ready. Here you go. You can get me. You can get boom, boom, boom this, and this is what it's going to cost you. Option 2, we're going to load it even more, and the price is going to be good. Option 3 is absolutely fully loaded. You are going to get everything from me, but it's going to cost you. And so what's good is it's fantastic as a bargaining tool, number 1. Number 2, if you eke them out, they can really see the scope of what you have to offer. Instead of just sending them one option and them thinking you can only do what is in option 1. It's like, no, you can actually do everything in option 3. You got to pay for it, but I can do everything in option 3. But if you want to choose option 1 because it's your budget, cool. Happy with that. We can work towards option 3 at the end, which is why they normally go for option 2. And my kind of rule of thumb on that is I never give them just one option, never. So I think that's really important. Sorry, that was a child being there. Turn that off. So, it's super important around that. Okay, let's do a little recap of our fantastic secrets that we have here on sales. Decide to be great, right? Please pick up the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or you can get Teens. And I also have the Audible book that you can, I can gift you as well. It's a great book. It's something I've used for years. This one I've also used for years with my kids. I'm wondering if there's a date on this one. I first started using this when my youngest was having a few issues at an all-girls school. And there was a little bit of bullying happening, and we needed to really focus her fully on that. And it got us through a really rough time. And that was, I think, 2014. That's how long I've been using these books, the teens ones anyway. Highly suggest it. It's great. So what sales professionals need to know, you know, I rattled off loads of them, but one of the most important is the prospecting. Get out there, you know, message new people, use your wonderful little marker pens for sales, and make the time in your diary to reach out to potential new clients. And hey, you know, secret number 3, if those potential new clients reject you, find more potential new clients. Yeah, because those every no, you are only closer to a yes. And just switch it around. I mean, I might look pretty happy about it, but that is the way I deal with sales. It's like, okay, whoop, great, thank you very much. I've got you on a list. I can market to you in another way. If you don't want what I have to offer at this moment in time, no problem. I'm going to be super professional about it. And it's great just to connect with you and move on to the next one. But I still do number 4, send them a proposal, send them a written proposal, ask them to keep it on file, you know, and say, hey, can you keep this on file for next time? I'm constantly upgrading. Can I add you to my email list if I get something new, or if I have an opportunity that might interest you, you know, can I contact you? You can use it in so many different ways. My secret number 5 is third party. I have affiliates, you know, promoting my products, promoting my services, and teaming up with them all the time. And I do the same for theirs as well. It's really a great way to do business. And sometimes I find it a little bit safer because I can kind of pass them over, you know, and say, hey, you need to speak to so-and-so. You know, I work with them, and the sale can go through them, and everyone's happy. It's like a win-win-win situation. And last one is always provide options. Always provide options. Normally they're going to go in the middle, right? You can send 2, you can send 3, you can send 4. I always send 3. They go for the middle one. And make sure you eke them out. You're really clear. You're really precise with what's in there, so they can't kind of wriggle out of it, or get you to provide more than what the brief is. And I think that that's really clear as well, because sometimes I have to, you know, reel people in because they forget, right? And I worked with this one company, and they took the middle option, and which was a 3-month project, and I think it was about maybe 14 hours a month. But then my next option was 20 hours a month, and they kept pushing the 14 hours a month. And I said, you can move to the next one from next month. And that was, I just kept throwing it kind of back at them and say, these are the options. You chose this one. If you want me to work more, I'm really happy to. Remember, this was the initial one. Why don't for next month we pop into that, and then we can go back afterwards. So it kind of safeguards your time, and everyone's really clear. You know, it's not like they mean to do it, right? But sometimes projects get a little bit out of hand, and just be really, really clear around money, clear around sales. So there's no room for interpretation that can be miscommunicated or misunderstood. Week 7, we are done, which is fantastic. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I'm going to stop sharing that, which is cool. So hopefully you got a little bit out of that, which is great, because I know everyone needs sales. It is the lifeblood, and we hear that term so much of business. But it's just so true, and I want to support everyone as much as possible in their entrepreneurial journey as well. So if you have any questions or anything, please ask away. We've got a couple of minutes. If not, I will bid you an amazing afternoon, and we will catch up in the group. So happy to answer any questions if need be. Everyone's cool?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. Well, thank you everyone for your time today. I will pop the recording of this into the group. But if you have any questions or need anything clarifying, then please let me know. And I wish everyone a fantastic rest of the week. And hopefully everyone's going to get their highlighters out, yeah, and organize their time in their diary for sales.
Thank
Will
you.
do. Thank you. Thanks,
Cool.
Barbara.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.